Hi guys, my name is Chris and you're watching Wrestling Today. So let's start with WWE is making major plans for CM Punk at WrestleMania 40, and those plans have been obvious to some for some time now. Punk's return to the company at Survivor Series in November generated significant merchandise and increased interest in WWE. He was involved in a feud with World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, with the two wrestlers mentioning each other on television and even sharing a segment on Raw. CM Punk has already signed up for this year's Men's Royal Rumble match, where he will have the opportunity to earn a championship match of his choice at WrestleMania. He is widely expected to win this match, giving him a chance to fulfill his lifelong dream of main eventing WrestleMania. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer confirmed that the schedule for WrestleMania is a match between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Rollins currently doesn't have a match booked for the upcoming Royal Rumble event, and even if he did, it's likely he wouldn't wrestle due to an injury he suffered in his bout with Jinder Mahal on Raw. Are you excited about the potential WrestleMania match between CM Punk and Seth Rollins, and do you think it has the potential to be a main event caliber match? What are your expectations for their feud before the event? The next story is about during last week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown, the match between Carmelo Hayes and Austin Theory took a shocking turn with a botched top rope fall. Although Hayes was not injured, it appears that Theory ended up suffering a concussion. The referee pointed to the X position, indicating possible injury, and waved the match off. It was reported that both wrestlers suffered facial contusions as a result of the spot. Carmelo Hayes returned to action during the latest episode of NXT while Theory is still on the sidelines. According to Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Theory suffered a concussion due to the botched spot. Theory and Hayes were injured at the venue for the 1/12 SmackDown show in Lincoln, Nebraska. Theory caused Hayes to roll down the ropes and both ended up badly. Theory ended up with a concussion and Hayes was concussed, but Hayes was able to wrestle at NXT on Tuesday in a tag match. On the January 16th episode of NXT, Hayes and Trick Williams joined forces to secure a victory over Edris Enoff and Malik Blade in the opening round of the 2024 Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Professional wrestling is always dangerous, and Theory's injury was nothing more than an accident. We will have to wait and see when Austin Theory will be able to return to in-ring competition after his unfortunate mishap. What do you think of this story about Austin Theory? When do you think he will be able to return to ring action? Next we have, you can never predict injuries because they will appear when you least expect them. Cora Jade was just getting back to business in NXT, but now she will be out for a long time. Ringside News provided comprehensive play-by-play coverage for the January 16th episode of WWE NXT. They included some sad news about Cora Jade. Fans in attendance during the January 12, 2024 episode announced that Cora Jade's match, who was taking on NXT Women's Champion Lyra Valkyria in the main event, had been stopped. There were immediate indications that Cora Jade's knee was the problem. During this week's episode of WWE NXT, they confirmed Cora Jade's injury. They said she would be out for almost a year with an ACL injury. Jade will likely need surgery and now faces a long road to recovery. This is not the news she wanted at all, and we are sending her the best at this time. What are your thoughts on Jade's current injury status? The next story is about Mercedes Money may not be returning to WWE this time around. She's likely to be All Elite, but that hasn't happened yet. Until that happens, Bayley doesn't seem to be losing hope. Bayley and former Sasha Banks have a long history together. They were best friends on screen but also bitter enemies. Bayley is not giving up hope of facing the boss again. During an interview with Sports Illustrated, Bayley talked about Mercedes Moné while reflecting on their classic match at NXT TakeOver, Brooklyn in 2015. Bayley said, "We will always be destined for the next match. We'll live forever because of this match, and it's something we can go on forever. We'll see what happens next in this situation." Bayley and Mercedes Money are still close friends and hang out as often as possible. Only time will tell if the boss makes a return to WWE, but Bayley really hopes it happens soon. If anything, you know Bayley will be rooting for her good friend no matter what she does next in the world of pro wrestling. What are your thoughts on Mercedes Money entering AEW or WWE? The final story is about LA Knight is on the rise in WWE and expects the fan reaction to his presence to eventually die down. WWE will be booking him against one big name after another at this point, and Logan Paul is certainly an option. Despite Logan Paul's rapid rise as a global social media star and current WWE United States champion, he hasn't faced many top stars since his debut at WrestleMania 38. LA Knight confronted Paul before the 2023 Men's Money in the Bank match and got the crowd cheering. During an appearance in Sunrise, Australia, LA Knight was asked if he was afraid to wrestle Logan Paul. The question specifically used the phrase, fear factor, which gave LA Knight a good springboard. Knight said, "The fear factor. Look, Logan Paul was doing this for what, 3 minutes? And I've been doing it for about 20 years, so not if anyone has a fear factor. First of all, one of the clips you showed had a little flavor, nobody heard it, but I went out there and basically laid down the law as far as what happens if it's ever me and Logan Paul in the ring. We'll see what the future holds for LA Knight. He is in a match for the undisputed Universal title against Roman Reigns, Randy Orton and AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble Premium Live event on January 27th. He may very well start the trip to WrestleMania 40 as champion. Logan Paul is the WWE United States Champion and will face Kevin Owens for the title at the Royal Rumble. Only time will tell if he retains the title, but KO has a lot of upside as US Champion. Thanks guys for watching and please subscribe.